It's no secret that I love a good ergo mouse. I mean, the Zowie EC line has been in my hands for years. It's tried and true. It's just, again, a shape that kind of molded the mouse game. But to be honest with you, the Pulsar X-Lite V3 has become my main and my top pick and most recommended ergo gaming mouse on the market. It's truly that good. But Pulsar has since released 3 different sizes, being the small, medium, and large, or size 1, 2, and 3. So what size should you get? Well, hopefully in this video I can answer that for you, or at least help you out, because we're going to talk everything about the shape and dimensions of these 3 mice, and hopefully help you pick out the right size. Now in this video, I'm going to break out all of the tools to, again, hopefully be able to help you out. We'll be using the postal scale, the infrared sensor, the pressure tester, the sound sensor, also getting some measurements, and a dollar bill. Stick through the video. You'll get it. Now, I'm going to do my best to make this video relatable for any hand shape or any dimensions, but I want to give you my dimensions just in case I chime in talking about how I grip it a little bit, and maybe you can relate to this. Say my hand's a little bit smaller, your hand's a little bit bigger, so on and so forth. Hence the reason the rulers here are spread about, so you can kind of judge up a little bit, down a little bit, or left and right, so you can see all those different dimensions. Now, first up, I want to go on and post the stock dimensions here. But again, take these with a grain of salt, because shape and size is really going to depend on your grip style, your hand size, and most importantly, your gameplay. Not just your game, but also your gameplay style. Now I want to give you some actual measurements all the way around each mouse here, just so you can get a better understanding of it. And I want to start with that middle hump, because I think that's going to be the most important. And on the small size, hopefully you can see that in the camera, we're getting right at 40.12. Again, that's the small at 40.12. Now let's go on and get the medium here. We're getting 42.37. And then let's go to the big guy over here. Again, we are talking that middle hump. And just so you know, as far as where I'm measuring on the bottom is right mid-center of the sensor on every mouse. And on the big one, we are getting 44 millimeters. So as you can see, they jump up about 2 millimeters each there. The next most important point, I believe, is going to be this back rear hump where it flares out. And let's make sure we're back at 0 here. Okay, we are good. And going to this rear flare out here, we are getting right at 58.9 and some change on the small one. Let me make sure I got that there real quick. I see it dancing a little bit. 59.3. Okay, so now let's go to the rear hump on the medium size, and we are going to get 63. And then going to the big one here, again, this one has a serious flare out. We are getting 66. Now the next measurement we want to take a look at is this mid grip point here. And I'm going to put it right, oh, let me get it locked in there. I'm going to put it right there underneath the buttons where I believe your thumb will be placed the majority of times. On the small one, we're getting 57.6. Let's go on and get the medium one here. Again, I'm trying to keep that measurement in the same spot for all of them. We are getting 61.6 over here on the medium. And then to the large one, we are getting 62.4. Now, of course, one of the biggest difference as far as measurements on these mice is going to be the length. As you saw in the stock or the company measurements there, we're getting 115.8 on the small. And then let's go on and stretch this out to the medium. We are getting 121.8 over here. Hopefully you guys can see that in the camera still. And then let's go on and get the big boy out here, size 3. 141. Now the last measurement I want to show you here is this upper hump. We already did that rear flare and then the grip width, but I'm going to measure this right here from where those buttons split and then over to the buttons on the side over there, just to give it a fair comparison. So I'll let it stop there and I'll get my peak right over there at that crest. On the small, we're getting 63 millimeters. Let's go on with the medium one. Again, I'll stop it on the buttons, and then right there, we're getting 65 on the medium. And then on the large one, again, stopping on the buttons, right over there, we are getting 68. So as you can see with the detailed measurements all the way around these mice, they're significantly different, a lot different than what you see online as far as just length, height, and width, right? You got to get that width, again, down at the bottom, up at the top, and then again, where are those humps and how are they bigger on the bottom or the top? Now, our next test is going to be the infrared camera, one of my favorite tests and a fan favorite out there as well. And what this does is going to show you the heat signature as far as where that hump hump is going to fit into your hand from size to size. How much is the heat actually going to fill out? Well, you're going to see where that grip is. So kicking off with the small or the size 1 Pulsar X-Lite V3, you can see just my grip here, all the palm space I have back there. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but I got a big pocket back there, not really touching the side. My pinky's kind of resting up over here. I am resting in the side of my palm, which is pretty much what you get with ergo mice. But this mouse, I can also pick it up like that and have it not in my palm at all. So it really depends. Again, I can kind of rest it in here or pick it up and flip it. So when I'm gaming with this one, I'm usually dancing around a little bit. If I want to rest it, I'll pull it down. And if I take my hand off, you can see the heat signatures here. Let me go and pull it up so we're not getting a mouse pad. You can see it's pretty much on that outer hump right over there. Just like I stated, right where it flares out on the back end and around. Very minimal over here. And again, you can see it comes over onto the side right there, which is again how I was holding it, pretty much right here. And then when it dances, it just hits into that side. And now we're going to test the medium or size 2 X-Lite V3 here. And this is my preferred shape. This is that EC2. And when I get this one in my hand, it definitely rests more up on my knuckles. When again, on the size 1, the smaller one, I can get up and dance it. Even I can dance this one a little bit, but I definitely have a whole lot more hitting the back of my palm. So this one I tend to kind of relax my fingers on. It's not like a full palm right here in the back. I don't even know if you can call this a palm, maybe a relaxed palm or something. But again, I don't really put it back there to fill out my palm. Maybe if I'm just kind of sitting there resting, being lazy. But whenever I'm gaming, I'm definitely just letting it rest across the buttons right here to my knuckles. And then I'm freed up in the back. So I get that control and I can still dance it, but I can still lock it in. So let's go on and get the size 2 here. And let me release my grip and just take a look at that. See that difference there? My heat signature all the way at the top and it comes to the back. And take a look at that hump. Let me get my hand off there so you're not getting that heat signature. You got a little bit more on the right side. You got the same amount pretty much on the left side there, but the biggest thing is you can see them really gliding back towards the back there, hence that height being a whole lot different, where I can, again, rest my hand across this mouse. Now, the last test for the infrared camera is going to be the size 3. Or the large, the big one here. And just looking at it like this is a handful. It is filling out my palm big time. As you see back there, I don't really have that gap back there much, maybe just a little peek hole, but it is filling out this side of the palm and this side of the palm, unlike with the small one where it didn't touch here at all. The medium one was just kind of middle, but this one is like, man, if I even try to dance this around here, it's hitting all over the place and kind of sticking. So this is like that dedicated, true palm grip, right? An ergo mouse isn't just palm grip, it's really that size you're going to get. And this one, clear as day, is a palmer for sure. So let's go and bring it underneath the camera, get some heat transfer there, and I'm going to take my hand off and look at it. I pretty much have my handprint on this mouse. Let me lift it up here. You can see it's all the way to that side, rolling right into that hump back there and around that back side. That's that little peak I had in the back right there, but you can see I got my fingers rolling all the way up across there, up to the side, down to the back, and over onto this side. Because again, that large is clear as day, sitting in your hand. So I hope my infrared test that I do in all of my mice videos right now really help you out. Because again, dimensions are numbers, and numbers are like, okay, well, what's that? But you can really relate to my hand shape to, again, the heat signatures you're seeing on the mouse. Where's it really going to fill you out? And again, I really love this test. I hope you guys do as well. And I hope that one was able to help you out a lot. Now, the next measurement tool I want to use is the dollar bill. And why I want to show you the dollar bill is I feel like it's an easy measurement tool right there. So what I'm going to do is take the mouse, and I don't want you to just look at the length of it. I want you to see how much the mouse is going to fill out the dollar bill. I'll line it up to the back and then this outer hump right here. Let me go on and get it centered. So we'll get that mouse backing right up to the back of the dollar bill and right to the side over there on this hump and then that hump. And hopefully you guys can see this in the camera. So number one, of course, the length is a big thing, but take a look at that rear hump, the two little triangles we got on the back end, and the slight sliver we have over there, and then it curls in a little bit. I know you guys are looking top down, so it's kind of hard to see these other bits, but I have about a fingernail on this side of the mouse where the buttons would be, and as you can see how much it's filling it out. So now let's go ahead and take the medium one here. I'm going to line that back up and then that side hump, so we are perfectly right there. Now go on and take a look at how much that triangle filled out on the left side compared to the small one. Over here on this side, I might have half a fingernail, if even. And then of course the length is significantly different right there. So you can clear as day see the difference from the small to the medium. But where it's going to get real interesting is once we take the large here, I'm going to line that back up and then that side. There we go right there. I mean, holy smokes, just take a look at it. This is why I was trying to emphasize how much that left hump plays a role in each of these mice as far as your grip. It's not so much, hey, they're ergo and they got humps. It's how big they are. That flare is really going to play into you because you can notice how small that triangle got over there. Same with the inner side where your buttons are, and you can see it filled out a whole lot more up here, other than just looking at length. Again, where those curves really play. So as far as core shape of these three mice and feel in the hand, hopefully these three tools were able to help you out, but we still have a lot more testing because again, these mice are going to be different in your hand from smaller to larger. And of course, the biggest difference is going to be weight. Now we're going to be checking the weight of these three mice on an actual postal scale here. So we're going to kick it off with size 1, and none of these have any mods, no different feet. These are all stock feet and everything on them. So size 1, the small, we're getting 52 grams. Coming over to the medium one, we are going to get 56 grams. And now coming over to size 3 or large, we are going to get 60. Does it want to go 60 or 62? We're going to get 60 grams on the large. Now I want to talk about the weight of these mice a little bit before we move on to our next test. Obviously the larger one's going to be heavier, right? But when we talk about weight of mice, like, oh, let me get the smaller one just because it's lighter weight. Well, it really plays into, again, your hand shape. So if I'm taking the large size and it's filling out my hand and really engulfing it, I'm not going to notice that weight difference. Honestly, what I would notice is, again, a heavier mouse that's tiny flicking around in my fingertips right there. So it truly matters the shape and the size of the mouse to that weight. So a heavier, bigger mouse, you're not going to notice that weight really. Again, a heavier, smaller mouse, you will significantly notice that weight. But the good thing, what Pulsar did here with all three of these mice is the weight is fantastic for, again, a bigger ergo. This one, it doesn't feel heavy. Me using the medium one, it's perfect. And then if I want to use the smaller one, which I'm pretty much fingertip flicking and dipping, it feels perfectly fine. So Pulsar did great with the weight, but again, remember, when you're looking at that weight of the mouse, it really matters how are you gripping the mouse. Is it more fingertip or filling out your hand in a palm? Now the next test I want to do is the force gauge. And why would I pull out the force gauge when we're talking about shape and size of the hand? Well, me as a consumer, I would just think, hey, the bigger one, there's more areas to flex. Is the build as good as a small one that should be compact and tight? So we're just going to use the force meter here. And again, press the heck out of these and see what we get. We'll be measuring these in pounds as well. And on the small one, we'll go all the way up to 12, 13. No flex whatsoever on either side here up to 13. You will get a little bit of flex on the bottom because it's open, but if you're pressing your mouse 13 pounds on the bottom, or heck, even a pound on the bottom, you're probably using the mouse wrong. And even on the top, this mouse is incredibly solid. Now, the size 2, again, this is my main mouse. It has been for a while. I've been using the heck out of it, and I will just tell you, there's no flex whatsoever. And I can, again, press it up to 14 pounds, no issues whatsoever, all the way around the entire mouse. And I don't even get nervous. Now, again, the bottom will flex, but we already talked about that. And coming to the large one, you might think, okay, there's a whole lot more plastic here, a whole lot more open space. Will it flex? So let's go on and get the side by the buttons. No button actuation as we're going up to 14 pounds and no flex. We'll go to this side here. Again, there's no flex whatsoever. Let's go to this rear back hump. No flex there either. And then the top, incredibly solid. And that's one of the reasons I'm really glad to be able to call this my main mouse. One thing I love in my products is durability and quality. Not hyped up, lightweight, holes in my mice, just because it's the lightest thing on the market is going to be my favorite. That's not it. What Pulsar did here is they made ergonomic, lightweight mice that are built like a tank. This deserves the hype, not some lightweight, hold up, flexy mouse. So what you're looking at here for a second is my ambient room sound in decibels. And now I'm talking, you're seeing it increasing. And why I wanted to show you that is, again, the different sounds you get from each mouse. And when I talk different sound, it's going to be as far as grip. I'll do the sound test on how I actually grip each of these mice so you can see how they sound a little bit different. Starting with the small one. Again, I usually flick and dip and fingertip this one. Now, even other than the sound difference of each of them, how I'm gripping them, one thing I want you to maybe go back and just watch again is watch whenever I have in my hand and just see the placement of my fingers and see me press those buttons. Again, kind of clawish over here. This one's kind of hybrid, I would say. And this one, again, my fingers are flat across it. So even other than the sound difference with how my hand is engulfed from the mouse, just take a look at my fingers, how they're bent and how I'm actually pressing the mice. And that also applies for the side buttons. If you saw whenever I was gripping them doing a sound test there, how my thumb was in a perfect position for the side buttons, that goes across all of them, from kind of relaxed clawing or relaxed palming this one, or from fully palming the big one, or coming over here and fingertip this one. No matter what, the side buttons are always in the perfect position. So I hope this breakdown of shape and size of the Pulsar X-Lite V3 was able to help you out. Again, with this being my main mouse and one of my favorite mice even out there, the passion to this is really great to me, and I hope that translated to you guys and again was able to help you out. I'd like to know what size you guys use down in the comments, and also if you want to see this kind of breakdown on any other mice that have multiple sizes, please let me know down in the comments as well, and I'll hopefully be able to deliver that to you as well if again it justifies the video. But again, I hope this was able to help you out. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye now.